Hello, this is Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Welcome home. Soar into tower. We are ready for takeoff.
Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hey, it's Amy from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey Clubbers, it's Scott from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, it's Kathleen from DVC Clubhouse.
Welcome aboard. It's Phil from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Debrief podcast brought to you by DVC Clubhouse. This is Amy, joined as always by my co hosts, Kathleen, Scott, and Phil. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hi guys.
Good afternoon, Wembley. Good afternoon, Philadelphia, and the world.
Welcome aboard, guys. Hey, Amy, did you see I nailed the intro last time?
Yeah, I heard. I also heard, for some reason, Kathleen can't remember that she thinks it's see you later. And it
Well,
makes me laugh every time.
DVC again at some point, maybe in the future, I think.
I think, like, when we were doing the Scott's Tips for Dining for a while, I got it fine. But then when we kind of stopped doing those for a little bit, it's like I forgot.
That's just the Youngstown's, like the lingo coming out of you.
Okay. All right.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, it made me laugh. But you guys did a good job.
Oh, thanks, Amy. I guess we passed, guys.
We did good.
I mean, I was trying to compliment you, but next time I'll save my my compliments. I'll keep them to myself.
That sounded like you guys did okay, I guess.
I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get these days. Thanks, Amy.
We did good.
You're welcome, Scott.
Appreciate it. I didn't think you heard me.
I heard you. Well, I know I'm having audio issues. Some weird pop-up keeps popping up on my computer, so we'll see how this goes. But anyway, so today we are going to be talking about what if we could add any country to World Showcase in Epcot, what we would add. So, who'd like to get this one started?
Don't look at me.
Oh, you have a good
We were
one.
all looking at you.
No.
Kathleen has a really good one.
No.
She came up with it earlier. I think it's an excellent choice. I kind of feel like you should go first. So we're talking about a country that we want to add to World Showcase. We're talking about food, restaurants, possibly lounges, possible attractions. What are some things that you would put in this particular area of World Showcase that would draw people to it?
My pick was Greece.
No, that's my pick.
Ladies first.
That's right. I'll add on whatever you miss.
I'm glad I went first. I just think it's different. It's another country that I think a lot of people might not think about when you're at Epcot, obviously, but they have a lot of food that people like. I don't particularly eat Greek food, but I know Lily and Scott, they love gyros, and what else do they have? They have tzatziki and
Spanakopita.
Souvlaki.
Baklava. I mean, I think it's popular.
My Yaya's lemon soup.
Really?
Gyros. Who does not like a gyro?
Oh, but I'm so weird. I love them, but I love them with ketchup. Don't give me none of that tzatziki.
Yeah, you are weird.
Little fun fact, we had an old boss, an old administrator, and she was... Yeah, but our old boss was all Greek. So
All Greek.
she was all Greek.
Well, yeah. Nicolau was the last name.
hmm
So
And she taught us. That's all she ever talked about, really, was her Greek heritage, her Greek food, Greece, going to Greece. So we learned a lot from her.
more than that, though, think about the architecture and
Mhm.
everything. Oh my gosh, can you imagine what they could do with that? You know how they just make you like immersed into the feel of the country? They could just take that into a whole new level. The food, like I said, all the architecture, the buildings, the souvenirs, everything. I think that would be probably a top choice for a lot of people.
So that's where I was going. You've got the Acropolis of Athens, you've got the Parthenon, you've got the Hercules tie-in, then you go over to the Isle of Rhodes. You've got one of the original seven wonders of the world with the Colossus. It's a no-brainer. There's so much you could do with it.
So much. I think that would probably be my number one choice for sure. Between everything that they could do, Phil said it perfectly with the Hercules tie-in.
Mhm.
They could do a Hercules ride there that would be perfect. The architecture, everything. There's so much you could do with that. It would instantly probably be my favorite country in Epcot.
So think about this. You walk into the Greek World Showcase Pavilion. You've got the Acropolis in front of you. You've got the Parthenon. You go to the side. You've got the Colossus. You've got the Isle of Rhodes. You've got Corfu. You've got all of the food, booths, restaurants, sit downs, quick service euros that you can hand out.
Oh,
You've got the Hercules tie-in. Think about being able to put a ride in the back, a dark ride. It could be trackless. It's Hercules going down to see Hades, looking for Megara. How cool would a Phil animatronic be? Is he's just sitting there heckling all the guests as they go by? And by the way, when you talk about the Isle of Rhodes, one of the main trading ports for the Phoenicians. So you can thank the Phoenicians on the way by.
who do we contact to get this done? This is perfect.
You never know. Might happen.
I think it should happen.
Forced perspective on the Acropolis or the Colossus would be so cool because you could make it seem enormous, the same as they do in Italy.
Yeah, I would. Like I said, I think that would instantly be my favorite country. You
So are
started us off really
is
good.
that what the three of you are choosing? You're all three of you are choosing Greece.
I had a different one, but go ahead, Amy. I want to hear yours.
So I had three that was torn between. Um, so I mean, I guess I'll just share them all. I was torn between Ethiopia, Egypt, and the Philippines. Um, because I feel like like so much of World Showcase is European countries. So I think that it would be cool to kind of bring in some representation of some other areas of the world. Um, and I think, there are a couple of Ethiopian restaurants that are local, where I live, that are just so great, and I think that they would have a big appeal at some place like World Showcase because it's those like buckwheat pancake things, and like you eat it all with your hands. Like you can fill it with whatever you want to and roll it up in those buckwheat pancakes, which I think would be fun for kids to feel like they were able to eat with their hands and do that. And it's absolutely delicious. And I think that, I what I love about countries like Canada, I love how when they designed that country at World Showcase, they really paid homage to um to the topography there with like having the waterfall and having the gardens. And I feel like someplace like Ethiopia, they could do a lot of lush greenery and waterfalls, and you know, it could be a really cool kind of like walk through type of pavilion where you could have some and that could also I mean, I don't know what a ride tie-in would be there, um, but just in terms of feeling like you were in an immersive country that had really good food, really like authentic food, and really just kind of like a more of like a lush walkthrough. I mean, it kind of feels a little bit more like Animal Kingdom, but I feel like you could do a cool pavilion that way. Um,
Here's the question on Ethiopia, though. So, any other country you walk into, there's something that you see that indicates you're in that country. And I don't think I can name one landmark in Ethiopia where I'd be like, hey, look, I'm in Ethiopia.
Well, that's where the edutainment part of Epcot comes in, is that you learn something that you probably didn't know before you set foot into it.
I'm Googling Ethiopia right now, and I've got like no landmark that's Ethiopian. Like, I was desperately trying to figure out something I knew that was Ethiopian, and I've got nothing.
So Greece it is.
No, I want to hear the rest. I was just trying to figure out what Ethiopia would look like. Like, you walk into Japan, you know you're in Japan. You walk into China, you know you're in China. You walk into Ethiopia, and you're like, where are we? Well, there's lush green landscape. Ethiopia is just not the first thing that pops into my mind.
Well, then maybe Egypt would be more to your liking then, because then there would be landmarks that you could identify
Lots of landmarks there.
that you're familiar with. So there could be, the pyramids, there could be the Sphinx, like that, that could be a cool country. I think that I don't know that Epcot has the space to be able to really pull that off in a good way. That's not going to feel like the Beast's castle in Magic Kingdom. But I think that Egypt, would be different and would also be representing a different part of the world, and also some, different interesting cuisine. Um, and then the other one I was thinking was just the Philippines, because I think they also have some really great food. Um, I have a lot of Filipino friends. They have taken me to Filipino restaurants and Filipino markets that are around here, and I think that it's would be uh, it would be a great addition from a food, like I'm not looking at this from a what is like the landmark, because like I don't think that when you walk into Canada, like when I look at Canada, that's not screaming Canada at me. I just, I look at it more from like the culture, and what when I go there, what can I learn, what can I see, what can I do that will be introducing me to a culture that I am not exposed to otherwise. And I mean, and I happen to live in a place where there's a dense Filipino population, so there's a lot of opportunities for me to dine at Filipino restaurants. But I think that that would be a great addition to um, just to the food scene, because like that's where I kind of come at it from, is like the food scene, and just the cultural aspects of what those countries could be. And the thing is like there are countries that there aren't going to be a landmark because they weren't like heavily colonized and weren't built. So like if they have nature, like so be it, because they haven't been overly developed. So those were my thoughts.
Those are good ones.
I like every one of those. I had two, maybe three that I thought about. One was maybe a country in the Caribbean, because I don't really think they really represent too much. Maybe Jamaica, maybe something like that. Caribbean food is some of the best food I've ever had. Getting some like jerk chicken, just the flavors of the Caribbean. Again, I don't know about landmarks and things like that, but that was one thought that I had, just to represent a different food, I guess, cuisine. Poland was another one. Anyway, like Polish food, pierogies,
Give me some pierogies any day. I love them.
halushki,
I'm out.
all that good
Pasta.
stuff. Yeah, I think Poland would be a great one. There's a lot of, again, architecture, a lot of history. The food is amazing. They could sell little Disney knickknacks that are all Polish pottery. I would love that. I think it would be pretty cool. And the other one that I thought of was just, it was like Switzerland, like something like Switzerland.
What's there?
Switzerland? Cheese,
Cheese.
chocolate, fondue, the Alps,
Sound of Music family.
the Matterhorn.
I was just going to say the Matterhorn. You beat me to it. I like the idea of Poland because there's so much beautiful architecture and history and rivers in Poland. You could do an amazing job there. And Switzerland would be really cool.
I was actually thinking, Scott, when when you said Caribbean, I actually thought, when I was like thinking through this, when Phil initially suggested that we do this, I was thinking Bermuda, because I just love Bermuda so much. And Bermuda is such a cool island because it combines kind of like island living with like British living because it's an English colony. Um, so it's just a it's and it has very distinct architecture um with the pastel houses with the limestone rooftops. Um, so I was thinking, but Bermuda's not really known for great food. It's like it's but besides like fish chowder and like it's like heavy seafood, some with like a British flair, but it's not really particularly a place where I'm like, I need to go to Bermuda for the food. You go to Bermuda for fresh seafood. You're not going to get the freshest seafood ever in World Showcase. So, but something like Jamaica and like jerk chicken, that could be that could be really good.
I think so too. That would be a different feel. How you just immersed in every single country. And then I think it would be pretty cool how they would do like a Jamaica or something like that. You would just be walking in, even like every time we go to the Bahamas, how they have the markets, like the straw
Hmm.
market and things like that. Like I think that would just be kind of a cool, different change. Is there one country that you guys would sacrifice to bring one of these countries in?
Mm, let me think about that.
We could do without the African outpost because it's
I was
not
just
really
gonna,
a country.
I was just gonna say that a little African outpost doesn't count.
Hmm.
I don't think I'm willing to sacrifice anything as it sits. I mean, there are still open spots. That there are 3 more that are available since they put Remy in the back of France, so there's space for it. And the African outpost never became what they promised from the very beginning. So we've got space without sacrificing what we have. I think, especially keeping in mind that a lot of the countries we got were not done to the extent that they promised in the beginning. Look at the river ride that was supposed to happen in Germany. There was a lot that was supposed to go in there that didn't. So there's lots of room for expansion. But all I keep hearing about is Brazil, Brazil, Brazil. And I think Brazil would be great, but having been to a true Brazilian steakhouse, I just don't know that they could meet the expectations of having experienced it in reality. And it's kind of just become the really easy de facto answer from anybody when you say, what country do you want? So I'm actually kind of happy nobody brought up Brazil because that's just the popular choice. I think there are a lot of places around the world that would be really cool to explore. If it wasn't already so well done in Animal Kingdom, I would even say Nepal. There's some incredible things you could do with Nepal.
Mm, definitely.
Yeah, I think that was a challenge in trying to decide what to bring to World Showcase because World Showcase it is pretty incomplete in terms of representation, but when they opened Animal Kingdom, they did address, kind of fill in some of the void in World Showcase when they opened Harambe and when they opened Asia. And, those are so well done. And those are so, those areas are so lush and beautiful. Um, and they had the space to do it. World Showcase, you'd need to lose probably where that world showplace is, and even that wouldn't be as big as it looks because you've got things that extend back there um that you don't see, like those bathrooms that are in um the UK, like they extend back farther. Sorin extends back over there, so there's not a ton of space to work with to really do something that would be of the scale that I think some of these countries would require.
Yeah, I completely agree that you could use more space, but I'm always amazed at what they were able to do with the space that they had in World Showplace and what they were able to cram into these really relatively small spots and still make it feel like a much bigger area than it is. The architecture there and the design choices are really impressive when you think about it because they actually do extend back quite a ways, a lot more than you would see just from the front. And they were able to have such creative use of space. I mean, look at Japan. That whole back building was supposed to be a Mount Fuji roller coaster, and they were going to cram it in there and make it work.
Hmm. Yeah, I think every portion of Epcot was done really well. I don't really think there's one that I would want to ever see go away. Because you every time, you walk into that certain part of World Showcase, you feel like you're actually there. It's
Mhm.
pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
people don't really wander all the way back into some of these areas. Sometimes we have a tendency to just kind of stroll on by. But if you ever really truly just look at all the shops and the way that they built it, the architecture, everything about it, I think they nailed every country there.
Yeah, that's why I think Poland would be a good choice because there's so many different things you can see. The interior, the coastline, there's a lot there. Greece, I think, just has so many things to choose from. The food, the eye-catching architecture, it's readily noticeable to everybody. You've got an immediate Disney tie-in. I'm trying to think of what else they could use for tie-ins from either IPs now or things they're pushing that would be really kind of cool. They could do some sort of, Pacific Island and bring in Lilo and Stitch and Moana and do a really good job there. I mean, there's a lot of things they could do with the space they've got if they just decided to push forward with it. I just don't know that they have the appetite for that.
Well, I mean, I also think you've got, you have Polynesian, which is, that's where you're going to get your immersion with that theming. You have Caribbean Beach Resort, which in terms of the, immersion into feeling like you've walked into like a straw market, like that's what that main building at Caribbean Beach is supposed to feel like. So, they have tried to represent some of these places at the resorts, which is really nice. But in terms of World Showcase, you know, I- I- it would be. I feel like it would be nice to see some sort of different type of kind of like, you know culture represented that you wouldn't necessarily see represented. Almost like something obscure. Like, I guess living in New Jersey, like, there's, like, a diner there's, like, 4 diners, like, in my town, and they're all, like, owned by Greek people that make delicious Greek food, um, and so, like, I like the idea of Greece because it would be really pretty and have delicious food, but I also really like the idea of a place that you wouldn't necessarily travel to on your own, like, I I think that that's kind of what the appeal of Animal Kingdom is, for me at least, like, and why I like it so much is because Animal Kingdom almost feels like Epcot 2.0 a little bit because it's like, it's transporting me to a different place where I get to experience food, culture, and music. And that is what I love about World Showcase is the feeling of like being transported. I don't need rides at World Showcase. I mean, I know that that's appealing for families with kids, but when we go to World Showcase, we barely ever ride rides together, like the when I go with you guys, Kathleen and Scott, we take our time. We mosey around World Showcase. We, sit and enjoy what that country has to offer. And that is what makes Epcot so unique is that it's not the type of theme park where you're constantly needing to stand in line to do something and experience something. You experience it simply by entering into an area and you feel, and that's how I feel about Animal Kingdom too. It's like you automatically start to experience something just by entering into it without even needing to stand in line. And you could spend, you know, an hour in every country at least just walking around, going into the shops,
Oh,
snacking on
for
the
sure.
food, having the drinks. And so, like that's the thing I think about World Showcase that is so special is that it just allows you to kind of have a very different theme park experience than any experience you'll have at any other park.
I think India was a good one too.
India,
Yeah,
mango lassis.
definitely. I'm just setting up
He
shop in
just wanted
India.
to say that.
I didn't say it right, but
Put a fake Taj Mahal back there and give me some mango lassies.
There it is. Just piping the jasmine smell from Soren, and I'm happy.
I think that
Definitely.
new
I
Indian
need to try more
restaurant at
foods.
I think that the new Indian restaurant at Disney Springs, Eat is so good. So, I would be on board for more Indian food in World Showcase because that's a booth that I always enjoy at the festivals. with the mango lassi.
Yeah, the bathrooms are already too far apart in World Showcase to bring in Indian food.
I gotta try that restaurant at Disney Springs. We have yet to try that.
It's really good.
That's the
Yeah.
place with all the
Hmm.
flatbreads, like the non-flatbreads and things like that. Is that Manit?
Yeah. It's called
Eat.
Eat by Manit.
Manit, right?
Manit.
The restaurant's called Eat.
We
It's
gotta try that.
EET. Yeah, it was really good.
Okay.
I've only eaten there once, but I really enjoyed it.
I just have to find something that I'll eat there or try something new.
All right, well, that was not nearly as exciting as I thought it was going to be.
I need to expand.
I just need to
I'll have
be a
the
little
Indian
brave.
chicken nuggets.
Yeah. No chicken nuggets.
All right, is that all we've got to contribute to this one?
Hey, we had some good ideas.
I think it was a lot of all of them were good ideas.
Like I said, somebody give me the phone number so I can call whoever I gotta call to get this set up.
We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change.
Yeah,
While
I'm
you're at it,
sticking
can you
with
have them
Grease.
bring Magical Express back, please?
Just bring back the baggage transfer. It's all we really want.
That's a different phone number, I think.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. I can get to property much faster with a car service, but if I could just put those yellow tags on my bag and send them ahead, I'd be perfectly happy.
Yep.
No, I was just gonna say I enjoyed that Magical Express was free. Because when you go frequently, it starts to add up. My Uber charges,
Yeah.
my Uber bill has gotten pretty high.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for playing along. We kept this one short because everybody is busy this week, but we will be back next week, hopefully with something a little longer. If you like what you hear, do us a favor, run over to Apple Podcasts, give us a like, a 5-star review. Amy?
And please head over to Facebook, join DVC Clubhouse over there to join the shenanigans. We're on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So give us a follow or subscribe over there. And until next time, we'll DVC you real soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
And so our journey comes to an end.
Oh, no, please, can't we go back to page 1 and do it all over again?
Started this thing together, and that's how we'll finish it.
Because that, my friends, is where the magic lives.
Top of the earth.